Welcome, everybody. I'm so
Hello.
excited today. I don't join these all the time, but Alex and I ran into each other at Eudaimonia Health Summit last week, and we've worked together for a while, but I don't
Yeah.
know your whole story. And honestly, like I am a sucker for like the details and the real truth that we don't often see. When you see a pretty Instagram picture, um, you assume things, but at the end of the day, like we all have stories and kind of what got us here today. And, I just would love, I'm just so excited to hear yours because I think you're a really special person. I've really enjoyed working with you, and I think you have a lot to offer. So, I'll just say really briefly for those that don't know me, I'm Katy. I'm the co-founder of Joy and Blokes. Um, I had my own struggles with fertility and hormones and perimenopause, and I am in menopause now and still going through it. And Lindsay is here joining us today. She is our team lead clinician. She really helps in all things with clinical. She trains everybody, manages everybody, and she is just one badass clinician. And a really great inspiration. So thank you for being here. And then Alex, thank you so much for being willing to join and kind of teach everyone all the great things that you know. I'd love you just to kind of say hi and intro yourself and share a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for creating this amazing company and community because I didn't know that it was what I needed in my life. And I am a professional in the fitness industry. For those who don't know me, I have been a master trainer with Nike for 10 years. I'm also a yoga teacher, going off on my own, doing my own things with brands. I'm also an influencer. And I am also a woman who has struggled with my hormones, with my cycle. I am very open about my mental health. And at the end of 2020, I went into a mental health treatment facility because I was really struggling with what was going on in 2020 and things in my personal life. And from there, that was kind of the snowball effect of my body just really taking a beating because of what my mind was going through and also the medications that I was put on in treatment. And I lost my period for 3 years. And then I connected with Joy. And I actually, when I taught my event, I believe it was 2 years ago with your team in Venice, I was on my period. Like I had just gotten it back, which was really beautiful. And I'm back in a phase of we're still regulating it. I still don't, it will come back. I know that I believe in it, but I have been waiting for a company to be able to talk to about this type of experience, to be able to understand what's going on in my body, not just kind of be numbers on a screen with the doctor, but actually feel like I have a relationship and also explore HRT. I'm 33, so it feels like it would be an early time to start that, but it's really changed my life. And I do feel that it is going to continue to help regulate my body, my energy, and everything that I do in the world. So that was a
Yeah.
that was a quick and long
Thank you.
experience of who I am and why I love being here.
I mean, and I would love for maybe you and Lindsay to talk a little bit more about that too, because also when I heard that you are on stuff, I was like, wait a minute, you're so young, and it honestly like scared me a little bit. I'm like, what are we doing? So if you're okay sharing a little bit, I think it's interesting, and Lindsay, from a clinical perspective, like understanding, obviously you don't want to start people too young, but like what are the reasons why someone would do it younger, or what happens, and what does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. I guess what are you on, Alex?
I am on the trifecta. I'm on estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And the reason being was all of my levels were super low. I have hypothyroidism, and then it transitioned into Hashimoto's, which I'm now actually in remission. So I really, and that has happened since really getting involved again with Joy and the VIP nasal spray, and then also the HRT. So that is what I'm on. And I didn't know how good I could feel. I didn't know how poorly I was feeling until I now feel the way that I feel now.
Yeah, did you get some like hypo Did you go on that after your menstrual cycles stopped, or were you having menstrual
Yeah,
cycles?
so I had, I guess this feels like a private or
I know,
or
sorry.
like a session, but that's great for those who aren't actually clients yet with Joy. You'll see and experience what's happening and what you feel when you work with them. I yeah, I had my cycle for 6 months and then I lost it again after a breakup. For anyone who's in this webinar,
Mhm,
our bodies and our minds are so connected, and our body also is just trying to keep us safe. So
mhm.
when I was going through a struggle and a breakup, my body was like, "Nope, girl, we're not having kids. You got to heal, you got to feel good." And and also my personal life started to feel really, really good again in my career. And so I'm not worried that I won't get my period back. I really believe that she's coming because I'm settling and I'm breathing. But I reconnected back with Katy and Tessa actually when I had lost it. And I was like, there's something going on and I need support because my male doctors and even the female doctors I was talking to didn't didn't really like one of the recommendations was to go on birth control
Birth
again.
control. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think so. I feel so much better without birth control. So,
Yeah, so it sounds like you had a little bit of hypothalamic amenorrhea, which essentially is a condition where there's a disruption in your signals to your hypothalamus in your brain, which is caused by stress, right? It can be caused by like just traumatic stress that's happening in your life because your body is trying to protect itself from low body weight, from over exercising, all that type of stuff. And typically when that happens, kind of the first thing that a normal primary care doctor does is going to put you on birth control because they're like, oh, you're not having a period. You're putting your uterine lining at risk. You need to have a withdrawal bleed every week or every month, or at least do something to protect your uterine lining. But when you just go on birth control to protect that, you're not raising your estrogen, testosterone, and
Right,
progesterone levels up because you're getting synthetic instead of bioidentical. So when
right.
you're in that state, you're menopausal essentially. Like I'm sure that you felt like you were in menopause.
I
Um,
felt horrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
This
So I think,
happening more and more to younger people. Like that's wild to me. Like what is going on? It's just we have more stress than normal.
Yeah.
yeah,
Our
yeah,
world is not natural the way that we live. It's not even what we're doing now. It's fantastic that we can talk, from all different parts of the world or country, but this is not natural. It's not natural to be looking at screens all the time. It's not natural
mhm.
to, I'm sitting on a grounding mat. I'm sitting on a higher dose PEMF mat. We would just be sitting on the ground. Like that's what this is. So
Mm.
thank you
That's
for
a very
asking
good
me.
that's a very good point. And honestly, like that's kind of what I say all the time. Like ultimately, like I am always been like a holistic person. Like I don't even take like Tylenol if I have a headache, whatever. Like I've always been that way. But I'm on all the things now.
Yep.
And I'm like, is that is that kind of a contradictory or whatever to how I believe? But in reality, I'm like, not really, because my life is like sitting on a chair, staring at a screen, overly stressed about all these things. And, you know, unfortunately, even though I try to eat healthy, I know like all the stuff that's in there and blah, blah, blah. And so it's like everything is so unnatural that I am trying to give my body what it needs to thrive in this unnatural world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Thank you
Yeah.
I
also for
think you have to. Oh,
sorry, yeah, I was going to say thanks for asking the earlier question of does this happen to younger and younger people because it was scary when I started when one of your practitioners clinicians said to go on hormones. I was like, "Whoa, I'm in my early 30s."
Yeah.
But I also know women and friends who have so low energy and don't feel good and acne and all these different things that they shouldn't be experiencing. And, we have tools to support. So yeah, Lindsay, I know you were just gonna to chime in because I
yeah.
am
I
young.
mean, I kind of explain it to patients. I'm like, if you were a type 1 diabetic, you would take insulin and not even think about it, right? Because you have to have insulin to survive if you're a type 1 diabetic. And insulin is a hormone, just like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid, they're all hormones, right? So we're just replacing something that your body can no longer naturally make that you do need, especially if you're in your 30s, right? If you don't have estrogen in your body in your 30s, then we're more putting you at risk for cardiovascular disease, inflammation, insulin resistance, osteoporosis, all of those types of things. And it's not something that you have to stay on hormone therapy forever, right? If you bring your cortisol levels back and you can start ovulating and have your cycle over that hormone therapy, then you can get to a point with
Right.
supplementation and stuff like that where you can come off of the hormone therapy.
Yep.
That's a really good point, and maybe dig into that further because I feel like that is a common thing that people say, like once you get on it, you have to be on it
Yep.
forever. Like, so
I
how would
actually
that
had
look
that
for
thought this
Alex?
morning. I had that
You
thought
what?
this morning too, and
Yeah.
um, but I wasn't worried about it. But it is, I'm also on thyroid medication, and I was worried I was going to be on that forever. And one of
And
your,
generally people are for thyroid medication, but
yeah, but
can you drill
I
into that, Lindsay? Like what would it look like for Alex to get off it at some point?
Well, we just lowered,
Yeah,
by the
so
way, one of
Oh,
your clinicians lowered my thyroid medication. So things are doing well. Like the hormones are helping my body do what it's supposed to do, which is what Lindsay's saying.
mm,
yeah, so in Alex's situation, we're not replacing what she's not, we are replacing, but we're like supporting what she's already producing, right? So in a menopausal woman, you are probably going to have to stay on it because you're not making any of it anymore. But in Alex's situation, she is still making some, and we're just supporting it while her body is healing itself,
mm,
right? So when she can start bringing her cortisol levels down, and getting her micronutrients up, whether it's like her zinc and magnesium and vitamin D and all that type of stuff, then, or if it's her gut health or whatever it is that's kind of causing that stress in her body, then her body's going to start working the way it should be again. And then she can transition off of that,
Mhm.
those hormones.
Yeah.
mm. So she
I
would just slowly again like dose down until she's like, I feel good and get off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was also going to bring it back to training and strength training because I know that was what a lot of the focus of this webinar was going to be. And I just want to share that I, strength training for a woman, we can have the conversation about what happens throughout your cycle, but I also just want to say that my ability to train at an optimal level and see results has drastically improved because of HRT. And so I feel it's like, yeah, it's supporting what I'm already doing. Like if you're eating well and you're training and you're doing all the things, but these building blocks are missing. It's like Jenga. They're like the whole thing's gonna fall apart. And I work in fitness and I didn't feel like I was actually doing my best until I started to actually understand what was missing and how to bring it back in, which is what your team has done and I had never experienced with any other doctor.
Mm. And that's kind of important. I also feel like I've heard this before in for especially if people in fitness because that's like another and Lindsay obviously is you train
Mhm.
hard and I don't know if you've done competition but you I know you're really involved and so that can affect women's hormones, right? And it increases stress. And even though exercise is a good stress, it can sometimes be too much stress on your body, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of research coming out about training in your menstrual cycle and kind of listening to what's happening and adjusting your training during your menstrual cycle. So essentially like there's four phases of your menstrual cycle. The first is when you're on your period and you're in a super low hormone state. Like your estrogen is pretty much rock bottom, your progesterone, and because of that, your estrogen when it's low like that, you don't have very much mitochondrial efficiency. So you're going to be have higher inflammation and recover a lot slower. So
Mm,
if you're on your menstrual cycle, you should just be doing like maybe some yoga and walking, and you're probably not going to feel like you need to listen to your body and not try to train through that. And then
mm,
once you get off of that cycle until you ovulate, your estrogen's rising, your energy is gonna improve. You're gonna feel like lean and strong, and you're gonna be like super resilient to stress. So that's where you can like really pick it up. And if you were gonna do some kind of competition, like run a marathon, that would be like your best time to go do that because you're gonna just bounce back from that stress. Then you
Mm.
kind of hit ovulation at 13 to 15, and that's when your estrogen peaks. And so kind of you have a testosterone surge as well. So maybe you're going to max out your lifts at that time if you're doing strength training. That's where you can like really get into like some fast twitch muscle activation. And then you go to that luteal phase and your progesterone starts to decline. And that's when your workouts start to feel really hard because progesterone breaks down. It's catabolic a little bit. So you really need more carbs during that time because you're going to be hungrier, you're going to have more fatigue, and you're just not going to be as strong. So that's the time where you do like your lower intensity workouts and maybe you go a little bit longer and you try not to push it as much. So there is like science and training throughout your menstrual cycle. I don't know if you've experienced that, Alex, but I know for sure, like where I'm at in my cycle, I feel completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was bleeding, I definitely felt all of that. And I think the most important thing, what you mentioned, is to listen to your body. Sometimes we hear, at this phase on day 13, I shift to doing this, and we aren't actually listening to how we feel and what we need. And I try to teach people, just because you have something on the calendar for that day, but you wake up and you feel you didn't sleep well, or, you have to honor your body and where you are, and everyone's cycle is different. I'm also just looking at the questions you answered a lot of those, so that was helpful. But in this phase for me right now, I'm because I'm still working to get my cycle back. The things that I focus on is, taking all my hormones and being consistent with that, but making sure that I'm eating enough and that I honestly don't do crazy cardio and super intense workouts at right now. A lot of it is just maintenance because my main goal is to let my body feel safe. And so I think people also need to understand that. There is this kind of desire to train for, high rocks is the big thing now. People really want to feel like they're athletes and they're doing something, which is so cool. But you also need to know, or you need to first check in, like, do I feel good in just regularly? Like, does my body feel good? And if not, then maybe it's not the time to push it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super important. I own a CrossFit gym, like I'm in the CrossFit space, and the elite people in CrossFit are not hormonally healthy.
Right.
Like they are training so hard that they normally don't have a menstrual cycle. They've lost their menstrual cycle. They're not training for health, they're training for sport. And so there's a difference in that. Same with
Mm.
bodybuilding. Like when you're doing bodybuilding and you're getting ready for a show, when you're up on stage, you're not in peak health
Yeah.
because you've probably lost your menstrual cycle and you're probably putting your body under extreme stress.
That was the first time I lost it.
Mm.
Was when I was a bikini competitor, and under eating, overtraining. uh, when you're overtraining and under eating, you're also not sleeping because your body can't relax. So yeah, I think it's important for general population to realize, it may look fun to be a competitor, but you're not one, and that's okay.
Can I ask, like, what exactly does a healthy cycle look like? Because I do feel like more and more people, I'm hearing more and more patients I see, lots of people obviously get on the pill because, something's off and they're trying to regulate it, or, different, cystic, is that how you say it? Acne. Like, there's all
Yep.
these different things coming and like really painful periods. Like, what is that, and how do women regulate that, or what tips would you give them?
So, like a healthy cycle is going to be one that's 28 to 32 days long, where you ovulate every month. You have minimal PMS symptoms. You don't have these huge fluctuations in your mood and energy. You get good sleep. Um, you can kind of have predictable libido fluctuations, and you're not having like debilitating cramps and migraines and stuff like that. I would say majority of people, that is not how their menstrual cycle is. Majority of people probably have some hormonal imbalances, and that could look like maybe you have really severe PMS for 5 days before your menstrual cycle starts, or you're bleeding really heavily. Like you should not be bleeding through a pad or tampon in over an hour, right? Your cycles are every 21 days or every 35 days. You need ibuprofen and Motrin and things to literally function when you're on your menstrual cycle. You have the acne, the bloating, the hair loss. Um, your cravings are out of control when you're on PMS, or your gut health even changes. Like you can get constipation and diarrhea around your menstrual cycle. Um, and a lot of that is caused from chronic stress, um, overeating, because if you're in a calorie surplus, that messes up your hormones just as much as undereating
Mm,
does. Um, Overtraining, not getting enough protein in your diet, having huge blood sugar fluctuations, and poor sleep, and just being exposed to, like Alex said, we don't live in a natural environment anymore. Like we're literally there's endocrine disruptors in your plugins that you plug in, or like I was lighting a candle earlier and I was like, oh, this is like an
Every
endocrine
Uber,
disruption. Yeah.
it's crazy.
oh, were you
Yeah.
about to say the Uber smell, the
Oh yeah,
plugins?
all of like the tree, like the scent,
Yes. Can
even
I just say like
perfume.
that? I've noticed that recently. I'm like, I can't, and I roll down the window. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. If you like, it's like blaring at you these
Yeah,
scents. And
it's
I think
not.
I just saw that going around on Instagram. I'm like, thank God it's not just me feeling like this. And then they have all these like, it's like freshly cleaned and I can smell all that stuff too. I'm just like, I think I'm gonna start to say something next time where I'm like, you guys like get rid of that
Yeah.
shit.
There's
Yeah.
actually a petition. I have a friend doing a petition in LA
Really?
to
Oh my
have it
gosh,
removed
amazing.
from Ubers. I know we should do it in New York where I am, but
Uh,
yeah,
okay,
this
so
should be fun.
Tessa has a question about tender breasts before your period, indication that estrogen is not being cleared. Is that true?
Yeah, so you clear estrogen through your liver. And so if you have a lot of insulin resistance, so blood sugar dysregulation, if you're exposed to a lot of environmental toxins, then you can get estrogen built up. So really good things to take are like a DEM supplement can help excrete that. NAC, milk thistle, those are a lot of supplements that we put our patients on at Joy and Blow Oaks. Sauna really helps detox your liver. Castor
Mm,
oil packs. Those are all like getting a good sweat session in. All of those things can help really clear that estrogen through your liver.
I
mm,
love castor oil packs. I do it every night. I love
mm.
it.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
them too. I don't do the
Yeah.
pack, but I do rub some
Yeah,
on
just
and
yeah, you just need to put a little bit on your belly, like a little massage.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that as well. And then I also do glutathione every once in a while, glutathione injections.
Yep,
Uh,
that's great as well.
help as well. And then I'm a sauna fan too. When I at least when I don't have to worry about my hair, then I
Yeah.
like the sauna.
Also,
Totally.
like really increasing your fiber can help, right? So nutrition's really important for your menstrual cycle. And so like eating a lot of good protein is going to help stabilize your insulin levels. Fiber helps bind estrogen in your gut so you can
Oh,
poop it out essentially.
mm,
Um, Getting enough healthy fats, like healthy fats are precursors to your hormones. Making sure you're not deficient in magnesium and B and zinc, all those things help with PMS symptoms. And then making sure that you have enough electrolytes, especially when you're in that second part of your menstrual cycle. Drinking electrolytes can really help you recover from your workouts, fight PMS symptoms, stuff like that.
mm.
Yeah. There are a
Alex,
few.
you do electrolytes too?
Do I use electrolytes? Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to be conscious of if I'm not sweating that much to not, I don't need as many, like as much sodium and to put back into my body. But I do drink electrolytes. Aminos are super important for
Mm,
me. I think, sometimes we think we're getting enough protein and we might not be. And so the aminos they allow your muscle, they keep your muscle. Like essentially they're like that they're protecting the growth of your muscle. And I do want to mention, because Lindsay, you kind of spoke to it, but without specifically saying, uh, eat breakfast. Like the
Yes.
people who like, especially for women, women are obsessed with waking up and having a coffee, and they're like, I have so much energy. It's like, no, you actually just have adrenaline and cortisol because your body is stressed, and so you feel like you have a lot of energy. But we like primally, we would eat when we woke up, and the men would go out and get more food. Like we need to eat in the morning and get enough protein right when we wake up so that our body feels safe.
Mm.
Yeah, I think one of the worst things for menstruating women has been this intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
You should not be if you're going to intermittent fast, it should
Do it at
be
night.
flipped. It should be
But
flipped, right?
do
Like
it
you
at
should be
night.
eating.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Like
yeah.
you finish eating dinner earlier,
Hmm.
go to sleep 2 to 3 hours after, and then wake up and eat. And then you've been in a, like I finish eating at usually 6 p.m. I wake up at 6:45 and then I'm eating breakfast by 7:15. Like that's a really long fasting window, but I'm letting my body like I'm giving my body energy at the time that I need it, which is
Mm.
Yeah.
when the day starts.
Yeah, and I think another thing that I see a lot of women doing is they're waking up and going to a really intense workout at 5 a.m. on an empty stomach. And that can be okay if you're not in this super stressed out response. But like that would be the worst thing for you to do, Alex, is to go up and do a fasted training
Yep.
session when your
Yep.
body is already under stress.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Does that have
I
anything to do with the fact that your cortisol is higher in the morning, right? Is
hmm
Hmm.
all
Yeah.
connected?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, Sarah R is asking, is it normal to have pain post-ovulation egg release?
Yeah, so it's called middle schmerz. And about, I know, like super crazy word, but like 20 to 40% of women have it, and it can be normal. What's not normal is if it lasts for more than 2 to 3 days, it's super severe, you're getting nausea and vomiting with it, stuff like that. But essentially, when you ovulate, I always, when I worked in OB/GYN, I would always have people come in and tell me, like, I have ovarian cysts. I'm like, yeah, you have one every month. That's when you ovulate. Like, people don't understand that, but every month you grow a cyst, your egg, and it bursts, and you have a cyst that bursts. And so sometimes I mean, that follicle can stretch pretty big before that egg is released and it ruptures and it can cause a little bit of pain and sometimes a little bit of blood can be released and it can irritate your pelvis, but it can be completely normal.
Mm, okay. So there's nothing much, is there anything you can do?
No, not, I mean, not not Tylenol, Motrin. Magnesium helps a lot with that.
Which
Um,
magnesium? Because there's many. I think,
Glycinate. Yep,
glycine. Yeah.
glycinate. NAC, curcumin, eating like an anti-inflammatory type diet around that time. So maybe you're cutting out sugars and seed oils and dairy and gluten around your ovulation time just to help reduce some of that inflammation.
Wonder
I've
if
gone
castor
gluten
oil
free.
would help then too, or no? I don't know.
Hmm.
What couldn't
Yeah,
hurt?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Castor oil is the best. Put it on everything.
yeah.
It's like the my
It's
big fat Greek
sufficient for
wedding
everything.
Windex. It's like castor oil. Just throw castor oil on it.
Take a take a castor oil bath.
Yeah.
Okay, Kate's asking, what might cause me to feel super sluggish, crampy, and PMS a week before and a week after my cycle?
Mm.
Um,
That sounds like half the month or more than half the
yeah,
month.
that is. I mean, it could be a few things, right? One, your progesterone could be super low. So it's normally typically your progesterone starts to decline in your late 30s, and that's what causes the PMS type symptoms. So it's very common for us to have a lot of our patients on progesterone in their 30s, especially in
Earlier.
that second part of their menstrual cycle.
Mm,
So it could be that drop in progesterone. It could be some estrogen dominance, like your estrogen to progesterone ratio is out of whack, and that's where taking that like DIM supplement, sauna, doing all of that stuff to kind of detox some of that estrogen out can help. Another thing that happens is you get you have a histamine response around ovulation,
And
which
does
can
that just
cause a
mean
lot of that.
inflammation or what's histamine mean?
So estrogen increases histamine, and it can be this like vicious cycle. But when you have high histamines, it makes you not feel good. So you can like do a lower histamine diet, or maybe around that time you're taking an antihistamine like a Singulair, Zyrtec, stuff like that. It could be your blood sugars not stable. It could be that you have low iron and ferritin. So that's where like getting a blood panel can really help and doing it when you're having those symptoms, right?
Mm,
So I would say like if you're going to get a blood panel from us, you would want to get to at least, you would want to get probably the advanced panel from us because we could look at your ferritin levels and your progesterone levels and your nutrient levels and stuff like that during the time that you're having those symptoms. So we could see what imbalances that you were having.
Mm.
There's a lot of symptoms, there's a lot of underlying issues that can cause a lot of different symptoms.
Yes, there is. Honestly, I just did my labs recently and it was great because I put them into ChatGPT and got some interesting feedback. And then I also sent them to Lindsay and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I felt like what you gave me was so much more powerful." It was really cool
Yeah.
experiment for me. But like I was actually taking too much progesterone. I love progesterone because it really I have anxiety. I've always had anxiety and it really helps calm that. And so I was taking a slow release and an immediate release at bedtime. So the immediate release helps you sleep through the night, and then the slow release kind of lasts throughout the day to help with like anxiety during the day. I overloaded myself a little bit too much, dosing myself, and the progesterone was actually the slow release, I believe, was actually making me feel a little sluggish in the morning. So like I wouldn't want to get out of bed. So that was something interesting that Lindsay found when she looked at my labs. She's like, your ratios are off. You need to back off of that progesterone a little bit. And I've been doing that the last 5 days, and it really does make a difference. So it's wild to me, like, it's just a balance of everything. And sometimes it can feel overwhelming because it's like there's so many things to remember. But once you can achieve the balance, like it's worth it to feel that good.
And you need an actual human doctor.
Yes.
Like
Yes, yes.
ChatGPT is great, but
It is good,
it's
but yeah.
not as nuanced as having a human who has experience and who understands you and your lifestyle. So,
Yes. I want to answer Deanna's question too. I don't know if I totally understand it. What's the best way to boost adrenal glands while breastfeeding? I was told in my consult that supplementing with hormones is not safe right now, which is true. You can't really be on anything when you're breastfeeding. Unfortunately, I know that's frustrating for some mamas because it's a long
maybe she
time. It can
means
be a long time, but
supporting the adrenal system, maybe, and like drain it. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you can do that by some of the things that we've talked about, right? Like eating breakfast when you wake up, like, and make sure you're eating balanced meals to stabilize your blood sugar. So, eating within 60 minutes, getting 30 grams of protein at every meal. Um, you can totally do electrolytes while you're breastfeeding, right? Whenever your adrenal, like your kidneys sit on top of your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, so it affects that electrolyte balance. So doing some magnesium and electrolytes, you can totally do stuff like that. It's totally safe to take a B vitamin while you're breastfeeding, an omega, which is anti-inflammatory. There are some safe supplements that magnesium you can take while breastfeeding. You just want to avoid a lot of the adaptogens that we recommend. Like you don't want to be taking rhodiola and ashwagandha and stuff like that while breastfeeding.
because those haven't been studied, or what, why would those be like?
Yeah. Yeah, they just
We know
have
there are
not been.
plants.
Yeah, they're adaptogens, they're plants, and I think they do cross the milk barrier. And ashwagandha is a great supplement, but it can be tricky. Like if you get too much of it, it can affect your thyroid function and it can
Hmm.
affect your liver.
Good to
Like
know.
I've seen people get liver toxicity with ashwagandha. So it's just one that like you should probably get your labs monitored if you're taking it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to answer the protein question, but I also, just while we're talking about the adrenal system, what do you think, Lindsay, about dry brushing? Because I've been doing it before I get in the sauna to just stimulate movement and detox. Because everything we've been talking about is adding things in, but you also need to make sure that your detox pathways are clear in order for your system to work.
Yeah, I love that. I think there's in there, you don't have to always add in supplements. Like
Right.
get morning sunlight. Like go outside barefoot for 5 minutes in the morning and get morning sunlight. Do like stay off of electronics an hour before bed.
Mhm.
Um, do some box breathing throughout the day. Just like there's apps
Shake.
like
Jump
yes,
And
in the
this is
shake.
all
yes,
still
yes,
supportive of adrenals? Are we still talking about
yeah,
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
yeah. So your cortisol levels, your ability to release and your detox system. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So that could
Uh,
be an easy, free, easy thing to do. Like get some
yeah,
morning sunlight, do some box breathing and that. Yeah. I
yeah.
love that because I love supplements and all the things, but at some point you're like, okay, how many can you do, right?
I
Well,
think
you
it,
can't out supplement your lifestyle. Like I always tell our patients this, like if you're not moving your body, if you're not getting sleep, if you're not eating a healthy diet, if you're glued on your chair to a screen all day, like no amount of hormones or supplements I can give you is going to make you feel good because you're not living a lifestyle that supports it.
right.
That's a
Yeah,
hard truth. Don't tell me
our,
that.
our bodies know what to do. I think that's something that I've had to take uh I've really meditated on and found a lot of peace in because when I'm fighting with my body, especially for me trying to get my period back, like I know like she is trying to keep me safe and our bodies know what to do if we trust and we treat it with respect. And, Lindsay, all of these things that you're saying is letting our body be a part of nature. And that to me is treating this organism with respect rather than, being on a screen or doing all those things that don't actually align with what my body just naturally wants to do. So,
And just being like, I think that if you polled 90% of women, they don't know what their body's telling them to do. Like, we're so out of tune with our bodies.
we are, yeah,
Um, we eat at 8, noon, and 6 because that's what time we're supposed to have meals. Where if you follow a kid around all day, like, they're not having regular meal times. They're just eating when they're hungry. Like, they're
yep,
playing and doing all of those things. But we're just really out of tune with our
yeah,
bodies and what it's trying to tell us to do as a
yeah,
society in whole.
totally, totally.
Mm.
What are your favorite protein sources? All I hear is protein, 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 but it's so hard. For me, animal protein. Like I am
Same.
not my mom is a vegan and bless her, but she does it for the animals, which I totally understand. But when you're getting your protein, your meat from really sustainable sources, like Katie, you and I were just at the Eudaimonia Summit, and we had incredible meat from companies like Butcher Box and Force of Nature, where it's grass-fed, grass-finished. The animals are treated well. There's no like they don't add hormones or all the crap to the animals. And I just feel like we have molars, we have canine teeth, like we are meant to be eating meat, and I feel so much better. And it's so much easier to hit your protein goal when you're eating animal protein, whey protein, a Greek yogurt, bison, chicken, but I think it's really important to know where you're getting uh,
Mm.
those from because you could be adding a lot of stuff in that isn't the best as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like try not to rely on protein shakes. Protein shakes are great in a fix, like if you are traveling and you need protein, but you shouldn't be drinking a protein shake for breakfast. You should be eating eggs and you can have ham for breakfast and steak for breakfast. Like it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
eggs, Greek yogurt, all of those
Yeah.
things, but it's going to keep you fuller a lot longer. It's going to, you burn calories digesting protein. Like it takes a lot
Right.
of energy to digest that protein. And when you start getting into protein shakes, a lot of them have a lot of fillers in them.
Totally.
I find that they're harder on me to, it doesn't feel as good when even though I'm like, oh, this is health in a bottle. Like so I get done drinking it and I'm like, oh, my stomach didn't
Exactly.
love that, which is kind
Yeah,
of,
the dairy.
yeah, I don't know what it is, but there's a lot
Exactly.
of things in there. I don't know what they are, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other thing that I learned at Udonia, where I sat next to one of the guys that did the aminos, and you kind of asked about that before, said something about that before, Alex, where is that something we need to be doing, or do you get aminos when you're eating meat?
So if you're eating meat, there are essential amino acids in meat, but a lot of people aren't eating enough. And when I'm traveling or I know that I haven't eaten enough during the day, I supplement with aminos just to protect my body and my muscle mass. But yeah, if you're eating meat is a complete protein source.
Mhm.
Like it's so and then, Lindsay, you also said like when you're digesting your food, also chewing. like when I started focusing on making sure, Mary Ruth, who has a supplement company, she has a book called Liquids for Lunch, and you need to chew your food to the point where it is liquid, and
Mm,
that also helps our body digest.
mm.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well,
There's so
also
many
like,
things. I know it can be so
no, yeah.
confusing, but
As you're getting older, your stomach acid declines, right? So if you're not chewing your food, you can be eating good protein and then you get your blood work back and it's like your protein level is really low because you're not
Mhm.
absorbing the protein that you're eating because you have lower stomach acid.
I
Mhm.
think that's what you also just told me
I
last week. I'm
did
like,
tell you
because
that, yeah.
I'm low in these vitamins that I'm taking. And I'm like, I'm already
Right.
taking those vitamins. Why am I low? And you said, well, you're not absorbing them. Your gut needs some work, right? And
Right.
I've never had, I don't think I've had those issues before. I must be, I'm assuming it's because I'm my age and going through my hormone changes that my gut's changing too,
Yeah.
sadly. But,
Hey, we're
is coffee bad for adrenals?
You just shouldn't drink it on an empty stomach and you
yeah.
shouldn't be chugging it all day long. Like 1 cup of coffee after you've had breakfast, perfect.
Yep.
You don't want to be sipping coffee all day long on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
so if you have food and fat and protein in your stomach and fiber,
yeah.
then you're fine to drink it. That makes a lot of
It
sense,
goes back to
especially
what
if
we
you're
said.
struggling with adrenal stuff.
Yeah. Well, also like we said before, when you wake up, your cortisol is naturally higher. So then you're adding more and your body's like, whoa, like what's going on here?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question from earlier, just general about what is peptide therapy.
Oh, yay.
I love peptides.
Me too.
They're
Although
like my favorite.
there have been you've got to make sure you're getting them from a good place. There's a lot of now everybody has a med spa with peptides, but
Yeah,
um
agreed.
Lindsay, do you want to take this away of what because I'm
Yeah, so peptides are essentially like they're naturally found in your body, and we're just replacing stuff that's naturally found in your body, right? So there's a ton of different peptides out there. Again, you have to be very careful and get them from a reputable source because a lot of peptides, I think the number one I get asked about is BPC 157. It's an amazing peptide. You cannot get it anywhere that is safe right now, because it's only found in research labs. So if you're getting it from a med spa, I would caution you to probably not do that if it's injectable because um, it's just not the safest thing to do. But like some of my favorite, like GLP-1s are a peptide, right? So GLP is naturally found in your body. It declines with age. GLP-1s are your Ozempic and Wegovy, and people are like, they kind of have a bad rap, I feel like, and people are like, oh, it's the weight loss drug that's making everyone skinny, but they're really good for anti-inflammation, especially as you're in menopause when getting inflammation and insulin resistance. Like they're great peptides. My favorite peptide is sermorelin, which increases your growth hormone a little bit because it declines as you get older, and it really helps with recovery. It helps you get better deep sleep. It helps you with lean muscle mass. So they're really safe things that are normally naturally found in your body, and we're just kind of replacing them or giving them a little, stimulating them to
yeah.
go.
Yeah, what I when I started being introduced to peptides, I was told they're essentially like little messengers for
Yep.
your cells in your body, like sending like here's a little note, do this better.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one we
Yep.
have is did you say you're on, have you tried the VIP or VIP?
I'm on the VIP, the nasal spray, and then I have had great success with Epitalin, which is I only do it once or twice a year, for 10 days. I love Epitalin. What I know, tell me, Lindsay, I may be wrong, but I was told it lengthens your telomeres
Telemorph,
on your
telemorphs, yeah.
DNA so that you can it essentially like keep slows down aging,
Yep.
and
Yep.
which
Well, you
I
look dang good, so
bleeding. Well, my body acts like I'm 13 since I'm not bleeding, but but I yeah, I wanted to slow down that process so that I could, get my period back. And then I was also using Motsi for my metabolism because my metabolism took a hit from the hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. So yeah, there's some amazing peptides, and I got them all through Joy.
Um, I also love Sir Sermorelin. That's a great one that I think is really great for as we're aging and we're trying to keep our lean muscle and build more lean muscle. I'm trying to build more now, get more into weightlifting, and I find that one really helpful, especially for recovery. It allows me to work out more. Like I noticed if when I cycle off it, and then I go to my trainer for a workout, I'll get really sore, which is fine, but I like being able to move the next day, so that's very helpful for that.
Yeah,
Um,
you did bring up a good point with that. With peptides, though, you do want to cycle on and off of them just to allow your receptor sites to kind of reset.
Right.
yeah. Yeah, to me, I don't know, I kind of view peptides as a kind of like the cherry on top. Like you have everything else that you've like
Yep.
done, your lifestyle is good, your habits are good, your hormones are balanced. And then for me, it's like peptides can just help with little other things that you um are looking to improve or optimize.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
I
there's
like to
such
try different ones.
it's supplemental. So just like Lindsay said before, you can't out supplement your lifestyle.
Yes. And you mentioned also the research peptides and the fact that they're hard to get and they're also expensive, but I'm hearing very good news that somewhat soon um, the FDA will allow us to compound more peptides.
Cool.
I'm hoping that's early next year. And so that would really be great for consumers to get more access to more of these cool things that help because ultimately they're very regenerative and
Mm.
it's not just like throwing a pill at a problem, it's actually like helping your body do what it's supposed to do.
Right. Amazing.
Okay. Well, we have one other question from Stephanie. It's also peptides. Okay, it's also I'm waking up at 3 a.m. And I want to try peptides for energy, less aches and pains, maybe 5 to 10 pounds of weight loss.
Oh,
Can you
wait,
suggest anything for that?
she's waking up at 3 a.m. because of work? Like, does she has to wake up at 3 a.m. or
I think it's probably she's just waking.
just waking up?
Yeah.
Yes, it sounds like she does not want to wake up at 3 a.m.
I saw Andrew Huberman maybe posted something recently that was like, if you're waking up at 3 a.m., he was like, you're not gonna like this answer, but you got to go to sleep earlier than what you're going to sleep because your body is like your clock is off. And most likely, I know when I don't get a good night's sleep, it's because I've been on my computer or on my phone right before bed, or I ate too close to bedtime. Those would be some of the like what I would think. But
Yeah, that waking up at 3 a.m. is super complex. It could be a cortisol awakening response. Like you could be ha it could be your blood sugar dropping, like if you worked out too late or too close to bed, if you didn't eat enough protein and complex carbs. If you're in perimenopause, are you waking up because of a hot flash or a night sweat? Like, do you need some progesterone? So it's kind of you have to figure out what that's where you need to have a conversation with a provider that can ask you questions to help you determine what is causing you to wake up. If you're waking up at 3 a.m., I one of my favorite things to do is put a CGM on and see what's happening at 3 a.m. Is your blood sugar spiking? And then that will tell you that it's cortisol. Is your blood sugar dropping? And it'll tell you like I'm waking up because my blood sugar's dropping. So you can like Lingo has a 14-day CGM that's like $50 that you can put on and it goes to your phone. But if you wear a CGM for like 14 days, it can tell you a ton of stuff about what's going on in your body.
cool.
Oh, interesting. So you would suggest that for people that are having trouble figuring out the waking up. Is there any other, like, I've never tried one, just curious, like, if I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. because I'm
They're
on low
great.
progesterone,
No,
like, is
yeah.
there another reason that I should do the CGM? Like, it's just in more
It's so
information.
informative. Like, so you can see even if you can see how you tolerate foods, right? Like if you're having an inflammatory response to a food, then your blood sugar might spike. afterwards. You can see what exercise is doing to your body. You can see, like, do a bunch of different experiments with it, like go on walks after your meals and see if your blood sugar recuperates, especially when you're in perimenopause because you just become so more insulin resistance. So putting on a CGM for 14 days can be super eye-opening just to tell you, just to give you insight on what a poor night of sleep is doing to your blood sugar, what exercise is doing, what foods you're eating are doing. It can be a pretty eye-opening experience. And you
Cool.
can get them literally anywhere without a doctor's order now.
Cool.
Interesting. Great. I love all this,
Amazon
this more
CGM.
access. There's a couple other questions we'll just answer really quickly. Someone asked, Stephanie asked, or Daisy asked about, I'm interested in testosterone, vaginal estrogen, progesterone. Do you supply those? And then Andy also asked about low testosterone. Can you provide it? And that is what we do. We have clinicians in all 50 states. We absolutely provide prescribe all hormones for HRT, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Because testosterone is a controlled substance, there are about 15 states that we cannot prescribe it in because those states require an in-person visit, and we obviously just do visits virtually like this. So hopefully those laws also will change next year. But for now, we can prescribe it in 35 states. And like we said, Lindsay here is our team lead clinician, so she hires and trains and manages everybody, and she's a wealth of knowledge. So um, I think if you have any more questions, please feel free to email us, and then we'll put this webinar on the website also later for people and who want to rewatch it, who maybe weren't here. One more question before we
Yeah,
get
I
off,
see that.
Marissa.
I mean, I deal with both of those things. Marissa said, what can we do to speed up metabolism after hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's destroyed our metabolism, especially when reverse dieting didn't work? So I am hypothyroid and Hashi's, but I'm in remission. So I'll share what I did. A lot of it was, I mean, I do credit the HRT to a really big increase in my metabolism and my energy and my mood, but protein, eating enough. I was really under eating. Like I really was under eating. And I know it can feel so scary when you're trying to lose weight to eat more. I get it. I was a bikini competitor. I was a fitness model. Like my brain was like, eat less, be skinny. And that's not how it works. Your body needs to be fueled. And but you're not just adding in calories, you're adding in really good protein sources, making sure that you're eating in the morning. So that would be, number one, just for your metabolism, making sure that you're sleeping and you're recovering. Your metabolism only can rev the engine if it has a chance to reset and refuel. And what else? I did add those peptides, like MOTS-c was really helpful for me. And I'll let Lindsay take the rest of that, but that's what I did.
Yeah, I think um, the number one thing I always tell you is make sure you're on the right thyroid meds. Sorry, my dogs are barking.
Mhm.
Oh, because a lot of providers will just put you on T4 medication only. And if you're not converting that T4 to T3, then your metabolism still isn't going to be working properly. So get a full thyroid panel and work with someone who makes sure that you're not only getting T4, but getting T3 as well. If you have Hashimoto's, cut out inflammatory foods, like cut out gluten. One of my favorite things is to put people on low dose naltrexone, which can really calm down inflammation. And then do not be in a huge calorie restriction, like Alex said. And for you, like treat it like you have adrenal fatigue. Like do your strength training and go on walks. Don't be trying to hit the high intensity workouts all the time because that's gonna make it harder to recover.
Yeah. The gluten, thank you for mentioning that. I forgot. I went completely gluten free and not just uh like you basically have a gluten allergy. Like that's what I was telling myself. So when I would go to restaurants, I would say I'm gluten free, not the fun kind. Like I am actually allergic to make sure that there was no cross contamination because it's the highest form of inflammation. I also took out dairy for a little bit just to see, and I also, I love eggs, but I wanted to see, like, it's a bummer because these things are so good and yummy. But yeah, being completely gluten free has like changed my body and my energy and my mood. And I do think was also part of how I went into remission with the hashis.
Mm.
And one day maybe gluten can come back in my life, but we'll see. It's all good without it.
Oh, beautiful. Alex, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We love you so much. We're such a fan, and we can't wait to hear more about your journey and how you're doing. And Lindsay, thank you so much for being, so important to our business and for our patients and sharing all your knowledge here. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you.
I can't
Bye,
wait till
guys.
the next one.
Yeah, feel free to connect with all of us, email Joy, and you can find me on Instagram at Alex Silver-Fagan. So yeah, happy to continue sharing more about this.
Beautiful. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.